In today's session of Divorce Court, Carrie and Michael were high school sweethearts who dreamed of getting married and starting a family. But their dream turned into a parent's worst nightmare.
Your Honor, we just lost our daughter.
One of the photographers had taken just a gorgeous picture of her, and I woke up one morning and that picture was the first thing that I saw, and I got really upset. And he turned around and looked at me and said, "Oh, so now you care?"
It just didn't seem like my wife wanted a child yet.
With the things that he had said to me that day, I didn't want him anywhere around me.
I had to go. There's 2 years, the grief of losing my daughter and my wife.
I lost my husband too, you know. The one person that I gave up everything for.
You said, "I'm sorry." Can you accept his apology?
Today, Carrie Sawyer and Michael Sawyer come to find peace in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Carrie Sawyer versus Michael Sawyer. The two of you have filed for divorce. And how may this court assist you in that process, Ms. Sawyer?
Today, Your Honor, I have come to ask. I had a little girl in July of 1997 that passed away 55 minutes after she was born.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I had planned to have her in my arms when she passed away, and it didn't work out like that. By the time she had been passed back to me, she was gone. We had very few mementos of hers, save her furniture and a few clothes. 3 months, a little under 3 months later, my father also passed away. And my mother was an invalid, confined to a wheelchair and pretty much homebound. We ended up...
You've had your share of problems lately, at least to say.
Yes. We ended up moving in with her, and our stuff was put into storage. Michael went and put the stuff into storage because I could not leave my mother to go do it. There was nobody else there at the house, and she couldn't be left by herself. About a month later, when we started having problems and I asked him to leave, he went and changed the locks on the storage unit. He changed the code to get into the storage unit and refused to let me get in to get anything. All of my daughter's belongings, save for a few things that I managed to take with me directly from my house to my mother's while I was in, the rush to get back to her. But he refuses to share any of it with me.
Are you that insensitive?
I've been asking for 2 years.
I never refused nothing.
You've been asking for 2 years?
I've been asking for 2 years, Your
Why
Honor.
are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. It's wrong. It's that side.
Let me hear your side.
My side.
Because please don't tell me you're that insensitive.
I am not that insensitive, Your Honor. I realized that was our daughter, and she was the love of our lives. I left because my wife was a computer whore.
Explain
Michael,
that.
I would get off work at 11:30. I would come home, and my wife would be on the computer. She'd be on the computer, which at first I didn't think nothing of it. I would get up in the morning at 2:30 to start my other job. My wife would still be on the computer, talking in the online rooms, in the chat rooms.
11:30 when you come home, she's on the computer.
She'd be on the computer.
2:30 when you get up, she's on the computer.
I would leave for my paper route. Kiss her goodbye. I would leave.
What time of that?
That would be 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 in the morning. She's still on the computer.
Still on the computer.
Your Honor, the reason I was in the chat line was because my husband would not pay any attention to me. I tried to talk to him about everything that was going on. A few days after our daughter died, about 2 weeks exactly, one of the photographers had taken just a gorgeous picture of her and had it framed and given it to us. I woke up one morning and that picture was the first thing that I saw, and I got really upset.
Understandable.
And he was standing in the kitchen and started yelling at me because the kitchen wasn't clean. And I asked him to please give me a little bit of time, that I had just had a baby 2 weeks ago and I wasn't really feeling all that great. And he turned around and looked at me and said, "Oh, so now you care?"
I did say that.
Well, do you blame her?
I don't blame her.
So what was that all
I was
about?
upset, Your Honor. We just lost our daughter. Before that, my wife, when she found out she was pregnant, she was upset. She wasn't ready to have kids. And I knew my daughter could feel that.
I wonder why. You couldn't hold a job.
So what?
I knew my daughter. Your daughter, I felt her knowing that. She can hear everything we say. And it just didn't seem like my wife wanted a child yet. And it was
I wasn't ready for a child, but I'm not going to make excuses for not being ready. Just because you want me to be ready does not mean
what you meant by that was you felt that during the time she was carrying the child that she really wasn't interested.
Until the last 4 months, we were both.
Your Honor, it did take a few months.
I could tell she loved. I mean, I could tell she loved my daughter. It was like, because I love my daughter with all my heart.
So why would you make a comment like that? That seems so insensitive.
It was cold. It was insensitive. But I was.
And what about
grieving? Our house was falling apart. Our marriage was starting to get affected a little bit.
And later that night when you made me pay you so that I could get the car keys.
I didn't make you pay for nothing,
Yes, you did. It was
Carrie.
$17. We stood there on the stairs in the apartment, and you yelled
at me. She was upset because I
wanted to go see my daughter.
I was concerned for my wife.
You wouldn't let her drive.
He made me pay him $17 to get the car keys. Every dollar that I had on
$17 to get the car keys.
I wanted to go out and see my daughter, and he had the car keys.
You wanted to go to the gravesite.
Right. And I wanted to go see her, and he had the keys, so I could not go because we only had one set. He wanted to go out.
Your wife had to pay you $17 to use the car to go to the gravesite to see your daughter.
Your Honor, this happened in the 2 weeks after she passed away when he was not working. He took time off after she passed away.
I told her I did not want her to drive. I was concerned for my wife. I told her, I will drive you out there. I don't want you getting in an accident.
In the middle of the night? Was it nighttime?
No, it was
afternoon. This was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
She's been crying. She was in tears.
But with the things that he had said to me that day, I didn't want him anywhere around me. I just wanted some time to be able to grieve my daughter without somebody throwing it back in my face.
Did you go to grief counseling?
Yes, we tried.
And she left. She did not want to continue because
she
was
go
upset.
together?
Your Honor, I left after it turned from a grief counseling session and to a free-for-all because he came in and started accusing me of adultery.
Why did you accuse her of adultery?
It turned from our daughter to that.
Your Honor, this is why I accused her of adultery. These are transcripts that I found the day our house burned down from men she's talked to.
Can you prove I did that?
Yes, I can prove you did this.
No, you can't.
Let me see.
Michael, do you honestly think if I had done that?
And this came off your wife's computer?
Yes, ma'am.
At the time that had been done, Your Honor, we were already split up.
And Your Honor,
that never broke up our marriage.
If our marriage
it was
broke up a long time ago.
Well, your marriage is not over yet.
Then why'd you keep saying you would call me for money for this, money for that? And
because
I would do it,
you took off and left me.
I did not take off to leave you. You're the one.
You left me with $1,300
I think what was happening here is both of you were grieving in your own way, and neither of you took the time to find out what was going on with the other. You thought you were the only one grieving and wanted him to hold you. You thought that she wasn't giving you enough attention.
Your Honor,
you should have stayed in that
I could
counseling.
never give him enough attention.
When divorce court returns, the judge takes Carrie and Michael into chambers.
It's tough knowing you have that. And it's embarrassing to me thinking.
Can you imagine what it's like?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce Court is back in the case of Michael Sawyer, who says after the death of their baby, his wife Carrie turned to online chat rooms instead of him for support.
What are all those things you have there, Mr. Sawyer?
These are our scrapbooks, my daughter's booties, our wedding
I'm sorry,
album.
Your Honor. I haven't seen a lot of this stuff in a very long time.
Oh, you don't have to apologize for crying, Miss Sawyer. I understand your grief. Those are her booties?
These are her booties.
Those are my I love mommy booties.
And what's that, her little animal?
I take this with me.
That's her
wherever I
stuffed
go.
animal?
It's her stuffed animal that we had before she was born. And
the two of you had bought that for her?
no, I bought this.
And Mommy bought the booties?
I bought the booties.
That say, I love Mommy?
I also bought a little outfit that says I love Daddy.
And where's the outfit that says, I love Daddy?
It's in storage.
That's still in storage. And what's the the photo album?
The photo album is this is our wedding pictures, the baby pictures.
You have that?
We have
Wedding pictures and baby pictures.
Yes. I left with a bag of my clothes. That
And
was
the
it.
car.
And the car. And the storage, everything that was in storage. My wife
My clothes.
turned away. I left. She had everything. at that house. I had to stay with friends. I went and stayed with friends for 6
So
months.
if she had everything at the house, how is that, what are you talking
Your Honor,
about?
the
Is
only
in storage?
Only thing we had in storage was, like I said, all my daughter's stuff that I.
The kitchen
How much
table.
stuff did you have for your daughter?
Oh, Your Honor.
We had a full nursery.
Oh, you had completed the nursery.
Yes.
So everything else that belongs to the nursery is in storage still?
He has everything, Your Honor.
So what are you going to do with it?
Baby furniture is being used by my pastor, who was having a baby.
Furniture.
And their stuff was all there. They had
Without
one
any
crib.
consent, you didn't talk to her about it.
Oh no, she didn't care. I couldn't talk to her with nothing.
That is so.
Well, Miss
Michael,
Sawyer, what are you going to do with the baby's furniture?
someday I would like to have another child, and I would like to use the furniture as a present from her sister or her.
So you're going to keep that furniture
Yes.
until you have another child?
Yes.
No matter how long it takes?
No matter.
The way you're still crying over the baby and the pain that you're suffering, you think the furniture would help you? Keeping the furniture, don't you think that that would just simply prolong it?
No, Your Honor, I don't. Right now I have nothing of my daughter at
Honor.
all.
Well, I understand some other keepsakes, but the entire nursery?
Right now, that nursery is being used by my pastor, who couldn't afford it. And
This
I
is
gave
my
that to him
daughter's
as a
stuff,
gift
and
to
you
use.
did not even.
To use. I went over there and set it up, and the day the baby's only a couple months old, and it was a blessing.
Is this
And
a
after that-
pastor who ministered to the
Yes.
two of you
Yes.
during the time of grief?
Yes.
And that meant everything in my heart to give my daughter stuff. That's what she would have wanted.
But it was my daughter too.
Our daughter.
What else would you want?
I would just like to have one little thing.
Okay, what would
like
you
the
like?
shoes, the ones, because I bought those.
I told her I would
Why are
give
you
her
holding
one.
the shoes from her?
I told her I would give her a shoe because
I mean, he's got the outfit that says "I love Daddy." Why can't I have my shoes that say "I love
So why
Mommy"?
won't you give her those shoes?
I told her this is our daughter. We shouldn't be fighting over like that. I want to put closure on that. I told her, how about you have a shoe and I'll have a shoe.
No, you
All right?
give her both the shoes. Give her both the shoes. Now you have the outfit that says "I love Daddy," right? That's the pair of shoes that says "I love Mommy." That seems real fair to me. That's the toy that you bought for her. I know it's hurting, Mr. Sawyer, but you left it up to me to make a decision. Neither one of you are being real rational.
I took the time. She would not. I would make time. She didn't.
Your
I would come home day after
Hold
day.
on, Miss Sawyer. You
And
took
she
the-
would be meeting people. She would leave out of state. She's already making plans in 2 weeks on her birthday to go to the next online party.
Mr. Sawyer, I understand.
I had to go. There's 2 years after Christmas Day. The grief of losing my daughter and my wife. 2
I
years.
lost my husband too, The one person that I gave up everything for.
Father's Day, Memorial Day, Easter. I had my church, and my wife wasn't there, and it hurt. I go there every Saturday. I place a quarter on my daughter's grave.
Do you see me there at
2
4
years.
a.m.?
We're all hurting here. I'm going to take a moment. I think what we need to do now, I'm going to take you into chambers and see if the two of you can talk to each other. I don't want to make this decision from the bench. I'd rather that you make the decision concerning your daughter's things and what you're going to do with them and how you're going to divide them. Let's go talk.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict in chambers.
Your daughter's looking down, and she'd feel much better to know that her parents are adults and they can get along.
And an update on the case of Danita Frazier versus Brad Monroe.
So he ripped up the kitchen floor.
He just tore it up off the floor.
Who was he, Superman?
Your Honor, I feel I shouldn't have to replace nothing because she drove me in that mental state of mind to go crazy like that.
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court is back and the verdict is in the case of Carrie Sawyer, who says her husband Michael turned his back on their marriage after the death of their baby.
The death of a child is hard, but it's something you have to learn to live with. It'll be better for the two of you to move on with your lives if you can continue to share her by sharing her things. Mr. Sawyer, I know you're grieving over your daughter and over your wife's perceived infidelity. Keeping your daughter's things from her is not going to make her faithful to you, and it's not going to bring her back. Now let's just be adults about this for a moment.
I just want her furniture.
You just want the furniture.
That's all I want. The toys you bought her, everything else you can keep. I just want to have something to give to my child from her brother or her sister.
You can't let him have one piece of that furniture?
I would feel all right if I just kept the dresser, just some part, and I would let you.
It's a good compromise, Miss Sawyer.
It's tough knowing you have that, and it's embarrassing to me thinking.
Can you imagine what it's
my
like?
My daughter's looking down, and
can you imagine
your
what
daughter's
it's
looking
like
down, and she'd feel much better to know that her parents are adults and they can get along, and they still can respect each other, and they still can love each other, and that her death did not destroy you as human beings. You're two wonderful people, but you're going to let her death destroy you as a human being. It's going to take away what you have to offer for the rest of the world and for yourself and for your future, and you can have another child. Don't destroy yourselves behind this loss. Can you just let him have the dresser? And you'll take the rest? The other furniture? Think that's fair, Mr. Sawyer?
I would ask that I at least get one ultrasound picture.
I'll give you the ultrasound.
He's going to give you those pictures, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now what are we going to do about these wedding pictures? Let's be reasonable.
I don't have a problem. They're just, they're memories.
Honestly, at this point, Your Honor, I have no problem with him keeping them. It's just the fact that he took them from my home without my knowledge or my consent.
Can you say I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
I tore my house apart.
Okay, he said I'm sorry. Can you accept his apology?
Yeah, you never cared about him till then, till a couple days ago.
Miss, you said I'm sorry. Can you accept his apology? You got to move on. Say it.
Yes.
Tell him.
Yes.
Take a deep breath. Tell him.
I accept your apology.
Okay.
Can I have one of her dresses?
Thank you.
Any more? That's it?
That's it.
I wish you well. Those are my orders. I suggest you both go into some counseling. All right? Thank you. Court's adjourned.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Danita Frazier versus Brad Monroe.
Your Honor, instead of punching or hitting on my wife, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I do hit walls. I punch walls. I do destructive type of things.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Danita said that Brad's temper ruined their marriage and her belongings.
Your Honor, instead of punching or hitting on my wife, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I do hit walls. I punch walls. I do destructive type of things.
He admitted that when he got angry at her, he destroyed their furniture, their apartment, and their clothing.
So he ripped up the kitchen floor.
He just tore it up off the floor.
Who is he, Superman?
Your Honor, I feel I shouldn't have to replace nothing because she drove me in that mental state of mind to go crazy like that.
Danita wanted him to pay for the damages he'd caused, but Brad wanted the judge to force Danita to give him back his beloved entertainment center. The judge agreed with Danita that Brad should pay for the property damage he caused.
Your anger has cost you. When you do silly stuff like that, you have to pay for it.
Danita was also awarded the entertainment center.
She's getting the entertainment center.
My entertainment center, Your Honor?
Your entertainment center.
Since then, Brad has moved out of state to begin a new career helping men meet the right women. and Danita is glad to have him as far away from her as possible.
I feel pretty good about the verdict. I'd like to have kept the furniture. They mean the most to me, but I have been selfish with the baby bed and the crib.
I feel pretty good about the verdict. It still hurts a lot, though.
Nothing really got settled the way I would expect it with my wife and I, but it's in the past now.